Shalom, shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahaha Kodash. Double blessing and honor to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who taught me this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace and sincerity to the brothers out there pushing this truth. The Akim, as well as you feel sisters out here listening and learning. The Aqua, to you, I say shalom as well. It's your brother, Karatazak Gabar, back with another lesson through the spirit. I'm going to be talking about two things going on in the news. I'm going to pull out these two depictions I got off of Instagram, and I'm going to talk about those. Lord willing, the lesson be edifying to those out there listening and watching. And with that being said, this video is protected under the Fair Use Act, the Copyright Act of 1976. Fair use is permitted on this video. I'm not making any monetary gain off this. This video is not monetized. This is simply for educational and edification purposes, news reporting. So with that being said, YouTube, please do not strike this video down. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get these two graphics I got. It says, America's debt is now bigger than the entire U.S. economy, 40% of global debt. This is why the American dream is collapsing. What do they always say, man? In order for you to believe the American dream, you have to be asleep to believe it. You have to be asleep. That's why it's called the American dream. You know what I'm saying? They've sold you on this ideology and stuff like that America is just so great. There's this and there's that and all this other stuff, man. When America as a whole is in shit for real. It says the U.S. now owes over $35 trillion. And how do you even come to a point like that, man? Or where you, number one, owe that much money, and number two, who do you owe it to, right? That would be my question, what I'm thinking about. Who do you owe this money to? They run everything, so they owe themselves or what? It says that's more than the GDP of the entire country. And it says debt over economy. This has only happened in collapsing empires. And we've been telling y'all, man. Let me get that real quick. The book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 4, it says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased, right? That's what we're going to be saying to them in due time. How hath the oppressor ceased? How hath the golden city ceased? How did the oppressor cease, man? How did Babylon fall? How did Babylon fall? This has only happened in collapsing empires. We've been saying this, though. Have we not been saying this? We've been saying this, Jake. We've been saying this. We've been saying it. I'll hear it again. We've been saying it. The decline, the downfall has been on the horizon, man. This has been coming. The book of Jeremiah 28 and 7, it says, nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears and in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. That's all we're doing. We're sounding the trumpet. We're sounding the alarm that this place is on the downfall and is collapsing. And we're, in turn, telling y'all what y'all need to do in order to escape this collapse that's going on, right? Unless, of course, you are this world, then you're going to go down with it in due time. You know what I'm saying? Those who stand for this world, this way of life, y'all are going to fall right along with it. So, if you know what I'm saying, you love this way of life, you love the way the things are going now, how you got to live your day-to-day life, then you might just go down with this place. It ain't no might. You are. And that's just, it is what it is. That's how it's meant for you. That's how it's meant for you to play out, man. You gonna go down with this place. See, us, we don't want to go down with this place. We want to go down with y'all by Shimon Shah. I'm just gonna go ahead and get it from her, so don't keep on going off and on and all that other stuff. I'm tripping. That one isn't. That was from a different group. I'm gonna just go ahead and read this through. So how bad is 40% of global debt? The U.S. is 4% of world population, but 40% of world debt. That's insane. But like they said, though, you know, they compare Donald Trump to Nero. When Nero was reigning in the, when he was reigning in the Roman Empire, what did he do? He reduced the percentage of pure metal, right? Of precious metal, you know what I'm saying? Silver and gold, whatever precious metals they were using in that time period for their coins and stuff like that. He reduced the percentage of it in the coins. And in turn, that created a domino effect, which made the value of their currency dwindle over time. It dwindled over time and started getting less and less because the rulers after him, they started reducing it more and more. And what that was doing was putting more money in their pockets. They were printing more money, producing more money, minting, things of that nature, you know what I'm saying, minting more coins. And, you know what I'm saying, the leaders after him were doing the same thing to where it came to a point where if you would have went back a few generations, a standard coin in those days would have had, 100%, let's say 100% of silver. And then you get further down on the line, you go down a few generations, and now it's at like 10% or even that. And it's mainly just copper plated. That's how a lot of the coins are now. That's why they liken him unto Nero, man. Because Nero was a big part in the collapse of the Western Roman Empire, the ancient Western Roman Empire. And Donald Trump is about to be a major factor in the downfall of the revived Roman Empire, man. If you can receive it, if your spirit can receive it. It says that's why I say it doesn't just happen overnight. This is an accumulation over years and years and years. It's an accumulation over years and years. So it doesn't just happen with one leader or one president. You know, it's built up over time. Like I said, that domino effect to where it finally basically pokes him in the ass, just for lack of better words. It says this didn't happen overnight. Every president for 40 plus years contributed. That's what I'm saying, man. Presidents from over the years, it's not just his fault, but he's inheriting. It's almost like each president is inheriting the debt of the last one. And it's just a continuous cycle, which isn't good at the end of the day for the country. That's why we always say, man, that, or at least I say this. I know other brothers do, but I say this a lot, right? That the U.S. have been on a downturn. Salaki, the U.S. have been on a downturn since like the 50s or the 60s, bruh. And it's increased since the 70s with the elder Abba Bivens coming on the scene. It says, more spending, more borrowing, more promises, more debt. You know what I'm saying? More spending, more printing of money. You know what I'm saying? Taxes and things of that nature. Man, just things overall, just products becoming cheaper and cheaper. You know what I'm saying? It's losing its value. Things have been losing its value. It says, but never more productivity, right? It says when debt outpaces growth, inflation rises, savings lose value, taxes increase, middle class collapses. So that the middle class has been non-existent. They've made it to where it's just rich and poor now. There is no middle class because in order to even survive in this economy, a lot of people are just living paycheck to paycheck. Honestly, it's very hard to survive now in the economy that we in. That's why it's just rich and poor. Nobody can live comfortably like that. Inflation rises. Yep. So we've been in inflation. We just haven't hit hyperinflation yet. We've been in inflation for at least the past 5 years, and I'm being generous. It says savings lose value, taxes increase, middle class collapses, wages fall behind prices. This is the cycle the U.S. is trapped in, and that's a fact. Let me get this real quick. Is that Job 28?
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, here we go. The book of Job, chapter 5 and verse 12, right? When the United States was at the height, of everything that was going on, you know, they were benefiting off of it a lot more than they are now. But now it's starting to bite them or become a pain in the ass. The book of Job, chapter 5 and verse 12, it says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong, right? So, like I just read, it said, see, this thing gonna keep on doing that. Salakia. But it said that this is the cycle that the U.S. is trapped in. They've been trapped in their own system now. And instead of benefiting them, it's becoming a detriment to them. It says inflation is the invisible tax that pays the debt. They won't raise taxes openly. They'll inflate your money silently. So as the price of things go up, the price of things have been going up. Yet people's pay has not risen. How much people own or how much people make, it's not increasing at a constant rate. It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not parallel.
Cost of living.
Yeah, the cost of living as well has risen. You know, it like I say, you have to work hard just to even live comfortably. I think they say you gotta make over $100,000 nowadays just to live comfortably. And that's saying something, man. It didn't used to be like that. It wasn't always like that. The cost of living went up, cost of things, you know what I'm saying? And then pay raises have not gone up parallel to that, man. It says they won't raise taxes openly. They'll inflate your money silently. Inflation equals the government paying debt with your purchasing power. Yep. It says when the government prints money to cover debt, prices rise, your dollars shrink, your cost of living explodes. I'm going to get that. I just have to make a note of that because I don't want this thing to go off again. It says when the government prints money to cover debt, prices rise, your dollar shrink, your cost of living explodes. This is how you repay the $35 trillion without being asked. And what y'all don't realize is I always mention this in my videos and my lessons, but the debt is actually higher than 35 trillion. It's actually closer to 300 trillion. They're not gonna talk about that though. It's more than what they're projecting it to be, because as always, it's business as usual. They don't want people freaking out, or they don't want y'all to worry about that type of stuff. Because if people actually knew that, things would look a lot different. Is what I'm saying. It says this is why the American dream collapsed. Your grandparents bought homes on one income. You can't buy one on two. There's so many people that are working 1, 2, 3 jobs and barely making it by. It's not you, it's the math. The dollar is worth less. Debt is worth more. Like I said, when FDR stopped backing, FDR dang near like he's almost like the effect that Nero had on the rulers that came after him. When FDR signed that bill into law, or whatever, when the U.S. currency stopped being backed by gold and silver around like the early 1900s, I want to say like the 1910s or 1920s. That was like the first stages of the collapse of this place. Because now, if you just think about it, the dollar really don't have no value at all. It's literally a piece of paper. It's not a precious metal like a coin used to be. You know what I'm saying? When coins were made with silver. It doesn't hold any value. That's why they went to paper. Then they could just keep printing money, which is what they do. Says your grandparents, okay, yep, life. The dollar is worth less, and the debt is worth more. Says life is priced differently now. That's right. Says meanwhile, the rich protect themselves. The wealthy don't save dollars; they save assets, real estate, stocks, private equity, commodities, and they don't even be working. They don't work or nothing. They got people working for them. It says assets rise with inflation. Cash gets destroyed. And then also, the fact that de-dollarization has been in effect for these past few years is also adding to that as well. These global partners in these other countries have stopped using America as a national trade. You know what I'm saying? The national trading coin. So that's had an effect on that as well. It doesn't hold its value. You know what I'm saying? The BRICS have been a forerunner for that. It says the system rewards asset owners, corporations, and borrowers. It punishes workers, savers, fixed salaries. Right? So at the end of the day, man, we're tributaries in a never-ending cycle. But as it reads, man, this life that we know it as is sure to pass away. This way of life. It's not going to be like this forever. We just got to endure to the end. So this is why the middle class is disappearing. See? Like it says, the system rewards and it punishes. It's two classes, man. Rich and poor. That's it. There is no in between. That's a false reality that they try to push to you. It says, what happens next? The part nobody is ready for. As debt keeps rising, inflation won't stop. Interest rates stay high. Taxes creep up. The dollar weakens globally. It says the world is slowly moving away from U.S. dominance. This isn't opinion, this is fact. Your move, protect yourself. You can't fix the national debt, but you can protect your life from it. Own assets, not savings. Build multiple income streams. Invest consistently. Learn financial literacy. Stop relying on single paycheck. Which those things are all good, you know what I'm saying, to learn before the moment. You know, as it reads, man, For those who use this world as not abusing this world, because the fashion of this world is sure to pass away. It's cool to learn those things, but just know that it's not going to be beneficial for much longer very soon. So what it should say is put your trust and your faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. It says the American dream didn't die. It was priced out by debt, inflation, and a broken system. But you can learn to outgrow it. And they trying to show you something at the end, of course. Then I also wanted to show y'all that Bulgaria's government collapsed. So officially resigns, country facing political instability. It says Bulgaria's government, led by Prime Minister Rosen Zalyaskov, has officially resigned after weeks of mass protests and mounting political pressure. The decision came just days before lawmakers were set to hold a non-confidence vote and weeks ahead of Bulgaria's planned entry into the Eurozone on January 1st, 2026. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets across the country, demanding the government step down over rising frustration with economic policies and corruption. It says the protests were largely triggered by public anger over a controversial 2026 budget proposal, which included tax increases and higher Social Security contributions. See, it's always about money, man. Although the government later withdrew the budget in an attempt to calm the unrest, demonstrations continued, reflecting deeper dissatisfaction with corruption and political instability. On December 12th, 2025, the Bulgarian parliament voted overwhelmingly to approve the government's resignation, with all present lawmakers supporting the decision. The cabinet will continue in a caretaker role until a new government is formed. President Rumen Radev now has the task of trying to appoint a new administration, or if that fails, call for early elections, likely marking Bulgaria's 8th election since 2021. That's insane. And they put the disclaimer for use. But let me go ahead and get this. Let me see. Corrupt ruler. Isaiah 19:4. And the Egyptians, which is talking about the Americans, will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts. These days and these times that we in, it's cold out here, man. It's cold. Like I always say, you gotta keep enduring it to the end. And Lord willing, we'll be a part of this place soon. But we sure to see the downfall, you know what I'm saying? The destruction of this place, Lord willing, soon. So, with that being said, I'm going to close it off there. Lord willing, the lesson was edifying to those out there listening and watching. Call Allah Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Raha Kodash. Double blessing and honor to the apostles and elder bishops and great millstone who taught me this truth through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And until next time, I say Shalom, Israel. Shalom. And as always, one day close to the kingdom, man. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Shalom.